When your hemorrhoids flare up, what's the first thing you do? If you are like me, or I used to be, probably nothing. No movement, no stretching. You tiptoe around your own body, afraid that anything might make it worse. But what if I told you that the very stillness you have been clinging to might be prolonging your pain? I know because I have lived through it. I was constipated for years, stirring up constantly, and one day I made a decision to stop freezing but start flowing. In this video, I'll walk you through the 6 exact yoga poses that help me heal, reduce pressure, retrain my pelvic floor, and reclaim my confidence. These poses aren't athletic, they are therapeutic. And by the end, you will know how to use them to build your own daily ritual of relief. And hang with me till the end, because I will share the secret ingredient that makes all of these poses work better. No, it's not a supplement. It's already inside you. So if you have ever felt like your body betrayed you, this is your chance to make peace with it. If you are new here, I am Bimal Maharjan, founder of Gutsphere. We are on a mission to make GI care accessible, affordable, and actionable for billions who have been dismissed, misdiagnosed, or left in the dark. But before we begin, let me tell you who I am and why I care so deeply about this. I have lived through it: chronic constipation, hemorrhoids, fissures, weak pelvic floor. Not once, not briefly, for years. I am not a doctor, but I have studied the science, combed through the multidisciplinary researches, and lived the daily reality that textbooks don't capture. Everything I share here is grounded in experience, backed by evidence, and created so you can stop suffering in silence. Because you don't just deserve relief from symptoms, you deserve relief from shame. That's why we built Gutsphere, a platform for people like us to finally get real tools for healing. Not just another probiotic ad, but holistic, science-backed, daily useful guidance with no shame, no overwhelm, and no guesswork. Because healing your gut isn't just about fiber, it's about retraining your nervous system. It's about movement, breath, awareness. It's about knowing your own body inside and out and learning how to trust it again. And one of the first ways I built that trust was through movement. Not just any movement, intentional healing movement. And let me show you how yoga actually works for hemorrhoid and pelvic floor relief, backed by science. Let's bust a myth right now. Hemorrhoids aren't just about poop. They're about pressure and how your body handles it. When your pelvic floor muscles are tight, blood can't circulate properly. When your veins are inflamed, they need decompression, not more strain. And when your nervous system is stuck in freeze mode, your rectum forgets how to relax. That's why yoga helps. Not to get flexible, but to get functional. And with the right poses, you can boost circulation in the rectal area, ease pelvic congestion, signal your nervous system to release, rebuild trust with your own body. This isn't about mastering handstands. It's about mastering the basics of relief. And rules before we begin. This is a healing space. And before we hit the mat, let's set the tone. Because this isn't about pushing or posing. It's about creating a healing space your body can finally feel safe in. Use props, pillows, blocks, cushions. Comfort is king. Inhale to soften, exhale to release. Never hold your breath. If it hurts, stop. If it helps, stay. This isn't a workout. It's a recovery ritual for your pelvic floor, your rectum, and your nervous system. All right, let's begin where I always do, with the pose that taught me how to go safely and simply. Child's pose. Start here always. Knees wide, Big toes together, fold forward, let your forehead rest, let your breath deepen. This pose tells your body you are safe now. And why it works: relieves pressure from the anus, calms your fight or flight response, creates a gentle spinal decompression. Stay for 1 or 2 minutes. Imagine your pelvic floor melting like wax with each exhale. Once I have grounded myself in child's pose, I usually move into something even more passive. Something requires almost no effort but delivers huge relief. I lay down, scoot close to the wall, raise my legs, and let gravity take over. This is one of the most underrated medical grade poses out there. And why it works: passive inversion drains rectal vein pressure, improves pelvic lymph flow, calms inflammation after a flare, and stay there for 5 to 10 minutes. This is your anti-flare reset button. Now that we have drained some of the pressure, let's encourage a gentle downward flow through your belly, your hips, and your breath. Sit tall, legs out, knees soft if needed. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, fold from the hip, not from the chest. And why it works: massages the gut, encourages the apna bayu, the downward moving energy in yogic medicine, lengthens your spine without stress, and let your belly rest on the thighs if possible. Don't chase depth, chase breath. From grounding and holding, let's shift into something a little playful but deeply therapeutic. Grab your feet or ankles, knees wide, soles up, gently rock or stay still. And what works: opens the hips and softens inner thighs, decompresses the sacrum, releases stored tension in the anal sphincter. This one may feel silly, but your pelvic will thank you. Feeling more open? Now we are ready to fully surrender. This next pose is where I go when I want my body to feel completely safe. Soles of the feet together, knees fall open, support your thighs with cushions, one hand on the belly, one on chest, and just breathe. And why it works: it gently opens the pelvic floor, activates parasympathetic rest and digest mode, reduces subconscious guarding in the rectum and anus. This is my go-to pose during a flare, not just for doing, just for being. And when I'm ready to lift just a little without tension, without pressure, I end with a supported bridge. It's powerful, it's subtle. Lie back, knees bent, lift your hips slightly and slide a block or cushion under your sacrum. Now relax completely. Why it works? Because it creates gentle tilt to relieve pelvic congestion. It builds awareness of pelvic floor movement and pairs beautifully with reverse Kegel breathing. And if you can, stay there for 3 to 5 minutes. I know it's difficult. This teaches your body to unwind. So now that you have learned the poses, let me show you how I actually fit them into my day. This is where the magic really happens. Here is how I actually use these poses, not just to manage flares, but to prevent them. So morning reset, supported bridge, forward fold, great for setting the tone of circulation and calm before the day begins. You can follow with Surya Namaskars. And after meals, when I have time, legs off the wall or gentle walk. It helps to reduce pressure buildup and support digestion. And before bed, do a restorative yoga. Happy baby plus supine butterfly unwinds your nervous system and signals your pelvic floor that's safe to release. And during a flare-up, child's pose and breathwork. This is my emergency kit. So come back to it whenever I feel that tension is rising. Even 5 minutes, one pose, one breath, done with intention can start to change everything. This is where healing begins, in consistent, compassionate rituals. And one thing that makes those rituals work even better is how you breathe through them. Let's talk about that. So let's add this secret sauce, your breath. Here's how I breathe in these poses. Inhale, visualize your anus blooming like a flower. And exhale, let it gently return to the neutral. No push, no grip, no squeeze. This is called reverse Kegel breathing. And why it matters? Your pelvic floor is a reflexive muscle. It doesn't obey force. It responds to safety, to signals, to breath. This technique retrains your sphincters. It also calms your vagus nerve, quiets inflammation, and rebuilds trust in your body. I used to think I had to fight my body to get better. Now I know. I just have to listen. In the next episode, we go even deeper. I will guide you through the exact breathwork protocol I use to calm flare-ups before they explode, retrain dysfunctional sphincters, rewire the nervous system that controls your gut, anus, and pelvic floor. You don't need gear, you don't need money, you need 10 minutes and your breath. It's part science, part somatic therapy, and it's what finally brought me the real lasting relief. If you have ever said, I've tried everything and nothing works, this might be the piece you were missing. Hit subscribe, comment below which pose gave you the most surprising relief. And if you are someone who wants to take this further, at Gutsphere, we believe no one should navigate gut and pelvic health alone. That's why we're building tools to make your healing journey daily, doable, and data-backed. Inside the app, you can track flare patterns, log which poses helped, learn what works for your body day by day, because you shouldn't have to choose between clinical care and self-care. You deserve both, seamlessly integrated. Please join the Gutsphere movement at gutsphere.com and download the app and start logging your first routine today. Thank you for showing up for your body today. If no one has told you this recently, you are not broken. You are not lazy. You are healing one pose, one breath, one day at a time. I'll see you in the next breath.